Happy Devils Wednesday. This is the State of the Fan Address presented by pucksandpitchforks.com. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with the editor-in-chief extraordinaire, Nick Villano, streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, paying the premium on X Live, the $22 that comes out of my pocket. Yeah, formerly known as Twitter. And Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. Coming to you live from the Primetime Radio Studios inside the bunker in North and South Jersey as the off-season continues, end of August. But I have to explain something to the listeners. People are watching live right now. That Sunday's podcast was canceled. We didn't put anything out on social media, and that's my fault. I know the drill, Nick. We should have said something. Complaints happened in the DMs, but let me explain. The bunker, where we produce this podcast, we had internet issues. So rather than struggle and try to figure this thing out, called up Comcast. They came out today. They knew what was on the line. They couldn't figure it out other than, let's just put another cable modem in and see what would happen. And right now we're live. Knock on wood, Nick. Everything is just going just dandy.
Great.
Yeah.
We love that for us.
Oh, and there was a diagnosis, though.
Through?
What's that?
The peacock comes through?
Oh, yeah. But the diagnosis is we've had that cable modem since season 3, I think, or season 4. And we're approaching season 8. So we did so many podcasts, we probably beat the crap out of that cable modem all these years. It was time to, we didn't really upgrade it, according to Mrs. Wu. We just got it, it's like trading in the old Datsun for a new Mercedes of cable modems.
I mean, is anything Comcast to Mercedes? I think you got a Honda Civic,
yeah. It's probably a Yugo, if you remember that back in the
you got a Scion. That's what you got.
You know what my dad told me? My dad actually, back in the late 80s, just for fun, looked at a Yugo. He actually found a Yugo place somewhere in Jersey, and they were the cheapest cars. I mean, I think you could buy a Yugo back in the mid-'80s maybe for $1,500. It was like the most unreliable vehicle. And I think my dad, or maybe I did as a 5-year-old, turned the wipers on, and the wipers actually came off at the dealership. That's the story.
So that happened to me once when I installed my own wipers just because I was in a rush and I forgot to clip them. It's really all it is. You just have to push down on the thing. So I've been there. I was in a torrential downpour in my wife's car of all things, and turned on the wipers and it flew off. And I was like, I literally was like, I don't know what to do because I have to get to this
in Florida.
place.
If it was in Florida, that's dangerous. Those downpours are like,
Florida.
Yeah.
So I literally had to stretch over here to look out the passenger side of the windshield. Not my smartest move, but I got there. Dangerous but effective. That's pretty much my entire life.
Oh, by the way, my Erica Wachter protest continues. I found a billboard. To put that, hey, MSG, bring back Erica, and plaster it somewhere in New Jersey.
All right, so let's talk about because we got to talk about the title. I'm gonna write about this after the podcast.
Yeah, that was my segue. My
how many
transition.
$42 do they need to bring Erica back? Like how many people is Erica's salary?
Oh, let's Let me get the calculator out here. Yeah, hold on a sec here. What would you pay Erica Wachter on MSG? Contractor, seasonal. What would be going rate?
So she left Fox 5 to take that job.
It's got to be six figures, right? It's got to be in the six figures.
We're talking probably $750.
$750? Okay.
But just compared to what I know they make at Fox 5 to be, she was a sports reporter, right? Not a
sports reporter, Fox 5
/ anchor
in New York.
Maybe I'm over. Let's say 500. I think 500 is fair.
Imagine
so for a fact that a main anchor in like a 15 to 30 market in local news is making 150 to 250. So I'm like talking myself out of this now, but I would, because she wasn't the main anchor though at Fox 5, right? She wasn't.
She was a sports reporter. I mean, she would I would say the main sports, kind of like Warner Wolf back in the day.
Yeah.
Or Len Berman.
But she was still probably making 250 at Fox.
You think she was making that much?
New York has a lot of money, and they put it into sports.
Really? Boy, I missed my calling. Go ahead. I would get fired in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even make it.
Again, there's like a lot of factors here. But maybe she was getting underpaid. Maybe she was below market. A market secondary in New York, because the main guy's making 500. Right. So, but I think a secondary would probably make 250. So let's say the original contract was like 320, 330, probably like somewhere like, with like those raises built in. So she's probably asking for like somewhere in the 4 to 5 range.
Okay.
And they want to pay somebody in like the 150 range.
All right.
Like they probably want to take a pay raise and turn it into a massive pay cut.
Okay.
So let's say 300 just to be safe.
All right, 300. And then there's going to be my number because I like Erica. Say if I was the producer at MSG, I would put her in at, and she'll probably love this, $685,000.
Okay.
5 years. If I was Erica's boss, that's what I would give her. All right. But let's go with your number first because we're guessing here. What was your number?
300.
300. Okay. 300,000.
At $42 a month, which is what this new Gotham Network app is going to cost, which is the combination app between the Yes Network and MSG.
42 times
$42 a month. This is psychotic. So let's say for a full season, for 6 months.
6 months?
That's $252.
$252.
So
let's say 300,000 divided by 252. And by the way, we're shooting from the hip, folks. We didn't even discuss this in our pre-production.
Yeah.
We need a break-even point, $1,190.47 just to break even.
No.
Oh, no,
that's
subscriptions.
That's how many subscribers?
Sorry. 1190.
1,190 subscribers
to break even.
We'll give them, because there's some decimal there, so we'll say 1,191 subscribers.
Okay.
If you're not getting that, because you got to remember, they're still getting the cable fees from everybody but Comcast. So there's still money coming in. You have to go into this thinking, what is there in the New York DMA? It's over 10 million, right? It's like well over 10 million, right?
I haven't even. Oh, it's been a while.
I know. I haven't had to.
We should have done our research here, but okay. So if I put out a tweet out to MSG and Yes, how many subs would it take to get Erica Wachter back on the Devil's Beat on MSG Plus?
There's over 20 million people in the DMA.
All right. We just need 2,000 subs. That's going to come from our group. If
Can we get a code?
Yeah. It would be Erica.
Code Erica.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Then we get her back. But if we fall short like 1,999, you keep the money.
I mean, can we get a cut if they keep the money?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. All right, so now
I don't want to just do this for James Dolan so he could put more money in the failing sphere.
Yeah, we'll get what he'll probably pay us peanuts, 5% or so of that. But still, I mean,
I listed 5% of $280,000 or whatever it is. I'll take that.
But yeah, you know what?
That's 10 G's.
But if I paid Erica $685,000,
we need about 2,300.
2,300. Just to pay one person. But it's once.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, like Netflix is not even Netflix, because that's the top of the top. Let's talk like people think like Peacock is failing, and they have like 30 million people subscribed. And obviously, this is different because it's regional, but you're not going to run like the Yes Network app for 1,000 people.
Yeah. Well, maybe we should explain to the folks that are listening in because they may have not heard the news. So Yes Network and MSG Networks are kind of, I guess it's more than a strategic alliance. I guess they're partnering up with this app.
For this one piece,
yeah. Called
kind of
Gotham.
like the Disney bundle with Max.
Yeah, called Gotham. It's a Gotham app. It's going to have like all the New York City metro areas, sports teams there, both hockey and basketball, because you got the Nets and
I think the Sabres too, right? I think it's some Buffalo teams.
Maybe I'm wrong. I thought it was just the New York City, but I could be wrong.
I think the Sabres are on there because the Sabres aren't MSG in Buffalo.
You know what? Can we just say the Sabres belong to Canada?
You're sending Lindy to Canada, huh?
Yeah, you know what? Nah, this whole thing about the only NFL team that plays in New York is the Buffalo Sabres. They're not. They're part of Canada, as far as I'm concerned. Anyway,
can we trade Buffalo for Vancouver? Vancouver's very nice.
If we did a land swap, but I don't think the Canadian. Well, maybe the Canadian government would do that because Buffalo's near Niagara Falls. If they own both sides of Niagara Falls, they would actually have a monopoly.
Yeah, I think they take that 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. So, which side has the falls? I believe it's the United States, but the best viewing is on the Canada side. Am I correct on that? I think I remember. But
right.
But yeah, so that's what has happened. Gotham. I'm surprised, like the Batman, series is not getting involved. There's trade.
Right, but I guess technically, Gotham had its name before Batman existed.
Oh, did it? I had no idea.
I think so. I think I think New York City's always been Gotham.
Okay.
I think maybe I don't know. That's what I thought. I'd have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have a lawyer that looked into that.
You would think, but we also thought that the Cleveland Guardians they would look into that as well. Not infringing upon the roller derby team? I forgot what they were. So
that's the Batman and a roller derby team are kind of different levels of famous.
Yeah, true. But anyway, getting back to the topic, I'll put out a tweet tomorrow. I'll troll people tomorrow. How many subs is it going to take to get Erica back? Because, again, I'm kind of interested. Is this move has anything to do with that? When Erica said taking a different direction, are they more geared towards that app? In terms of, I'm not saying the C word, in terms of putting out unique videos, blogs, interviews, behind the scenes stuff. Were they thinking that Erica was too much TV and would not fit in, and this is more of a social media app, new technology?
She's great at social media, though.
Oh, I think she is. I'm not saying, but money talks at that point. Because
I think that's all it is. I think it's just money.
I think it's money. Okay.
They could pay somebody half of what Erica was making, and Erica was probably making half of what Deb was making. It's the world we live in.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, Sam. I think that there's a reason they haven't named somebody.
What's that reason?
Maybe this is like my conspiracy theory self.
Oh, please tell.
One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to make Bryce do both, where he's between the benches and the post or whatever, the intermission person, and he does it with they just don't give Danico or Spalding a break. I would think Spalding. I think they'd make Spalding pull double duty. Or they're going to go for a complete no-name. Here's the thing. I've seen a lot of speculation about Anna Dua. I've seen a lot of speculation about Emily Kaplan, which I don't think is coming from anywhere.
I don't know where that came from.
People just make things up and call it a source. That's really what it is. But no, she's not going to leave ESPN. But there's a lot of people that people talk about. They talk about Arda, a friend of the podcast, Arda. But Arda's got a good thing going to ESPN. But I don't know. Again, I do think the MSG job would. I don't want to talk about people's paychecks. I would assume that job might pay a little bit more, but Arda's got a really good thing going to ESPN. They got that new hockey contract, so maybe it's whatever. But at the same time, if it was somebody like that, they would have announced it because it would have been a celebration. Even Anna Dua is well known enough. It would have been a celebration. The fact that it hasn't been named just tells me that it's not good news, or they don't think it's good news. Right? That you have to have the person in place right now. It's August 28th. Sam?
I'm going to further your conspiracy theory. Because I've been saying just recently, and I predicted this 15 years ago, and a lot of people laughed at me. But here in the New York City metro area, very famous radio station, WCBS 880, shut its doors. Their last broadcast was Sunday night. After 67 years in the business, 1010 Wins, is going to be now the monopoly for, I don't know if it's called Entercom still. But regardless.
Yeah, I used to listen to 880. I remember when, wasn't it on 770 before that? They moved it to 880?
It could have been. For me, it's always been 880 since I was a little kid. So,
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Was 770 a different?
Yeah, that was like Rambling with Gambling or something like that, or or something. And
I started on 770. I remember that, and I remember 660 used to do the Mets, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that tangent. I'm just you hit something in my brain that hasn't been acknowledged in 20 years.
I mean, the Devils used to be on 770 as well, AM 770.
Okay, that's probably where it's.
And also, but anyway, long story short, these big media conglomerates are falling. And I've been saying this all along to my friends with conspiracy theories that James Dolan's losing a lot of money because the regional sports network Star Ascends, because everyone's cutting the cord, they did not evolve like they should have, and they were late to the game to the app. Same with Yes Network. But now they're joining forces because right now they have plateaued, so to speak. And now they're getting into the digital age, but they have the advantage of owning the intellectual property rights of the Knicks The Devils, the Nets, the Yankees. The only thing missing there is the Mets. The Mets are on their own island with SNY. But
it's crazy that you didn't get the Mets. Like, if you're going to charge $42, you need to get every single. Like, I need to be able to watch the Yankees. When the Yankees play the Mets, I need to be able to watch both broadcasts just to kind of, like, it's crazy. But it sounded like you had a thought. Sorry, that just blows.
Well, here's my thought: is that since both were late to the game, MSG and Comcast still don't have an agreement. We're going in year 3 or 4 now, right? That whole mess. That it's all about distribution right now. It's all about making money. Advertising has got to be going down right now. I would assume. Erica and Dano sold Genucel very, very well, as we're mentioning right now. And I think this is kind of like, I wouldn't say a Hail Mary attempt, but they know their numbers. The Yes people and the Yes Network and MSG, I bet you their numbers suck in terms of getting subscribers. But this is one way to get them by colluding, partnering up, and try to get one central location on that app. Because that app is going to produce a lot of data for marketers, whatnot, in the New York City metro area. You got basketball and hockey. And then throw in baseball, which would be the Yankees, which I think the Yankees probably prefer the Mets not to be on the same app, especially when Steve Cohen can probably buy all of them. Wanted it.
Yeah, I guess that's true since they own the Yes Network.
Yeah, and I think again we're summertime off season talking, but how we consume our Devils hockey on this app, I think it's going to get lost in there. I think it's just going to be information overload. I don't think that we're going to get anything really great out of the app. I think the information will be controlled. Are we going to get rumors? Are we going to get like our first information there? All these teams have their own team reporters right now. I think it's just another app. Maybe it's combined. And remember, I believe they're geofenced too. So if you're out of the area, I don't think you can even watch.
No, I think that's the point of the app. I think that's. The geofence was for like the MSG network app.
Okay, maybe I read that wrong.
I didn't read it all the way. That would be insanely stupid to make this app geofenced.
I think they're going with the archaic. It's not. Here, let me read it real quick. But let's see. I'm on the NewYorkPost.com. Announced Wednesday that this will be launching the Gotham Sports app this fall before the NBA and NHL begin their 24-25 seasons, bringing the MSG Plus and the Yes app together. Let's see here. Scrolling here. I thought I read it somewhere. I'm not getting it. Again, should have done the research before this podcast.
That would be an insane decision. Like, the whole point of this is that everybody, like, you want people in California who's a Devils fan. You want people in, Washington State who's a Rangers fan. You want people in Texas who are Yankees fans to buy this app.
All right, I'll have to find where I thought I read it, but I'm going to have to find out. But you're probably right, Nick. I'll have to look that up. I thought it was going to be like you got to be still in the area with the app. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense. But then again, you're bounded by league rules, and there's technically three different leagues.
And here's the other thing. So this is coming on the heels of the venue streaming service that was the mixture of the sports from Fox, Disney, Warner, and Warner.
Mm-hmm.
That got stopped by a judge. Who's to say this isn't going to get stopped by a judge? Saying that it's unfair marketing tactics. It hurts a flailing business venture. Here's the other thing that's interesting, Sam. You know that Comcast is a co-owner of Sportsnet. And Comcast is famously in a fight with MSG.
Well, yeah, I mean, Comcast, I believe, had a share in when it was the Wilpons, with SNY. Is that the Sportsnet you're talking about, or are you talking about another Sportsnet?
This says that SNY is a joint venture between Sterling Entertainment, Comcast, and Charter.
That's correct. That's been that for a while. And once...
Well, yeah, I'm just pointing out that Comcast and MSG don't necessarily have a rosy relationship to have a joint venture app. They can't even get MSG on Comcast right now.
Okay, you're right about Buffalo in there. That's a throw-in as far as I'm concerned.
No, but the Buffalo fans are big fans, and they would pay.
See, this is what...
I don't see anywhere about it being geolocated, but...
Yeah, I mean, they're basically saying, in their press release, saying that this is a one-stop shop, easy access, as it's with the increased fragmentation of outlets carrying fan-favorite sports programming. But that's one question I have: is this going to be geofenced? Because nowhere does it say that.
I think the geofence is if you sign in with your cable provider.
That makes sense because it's all about rights and territory.
Right.
I mean, can you get the Devils down in Florida with the MSG app? Were you able to?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Again, but here's the thing: is that the cord cutters are smarter. And they could put VPNs. They could put different technologies to geolocate wherever the heck they want. So if I get a family member's login, I would just get a VPN and just log in. You're going to get some people who don't care about the money. They just want the convenience. Mm-hmm. But here's the problem: is that you look at it against the market, it doesn't make sense. If Venue went through but you know what? I'm actually going to take that back, because here's the difference between Venue and this joint venture. What's the big difference, Sam? Venue has football. This isn't football. Football is what's driving Venue's price. To be able to get the local football games at 1 and 4 o'clock, and to get, I think ESPN's on that, so you get Monday Night Football. That's there's a value to that. Now, the Yankees do make this interesting. I really think it's just the Yankees. Because, Knicks fans in Oklahoma are just going to watch them when they're on ESPN and Turner or NBC, wherever the heck they are this year. Mm-hmm. And Amazon. Most people have Amazon Prime, I feel like. Or not most people, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of people who have Amazon Prime just because they have Amazon Prime for the shipping. So when they see NBA's on there this year, oh, cool. Yeah, I'll watch the next game. Watch a Nets game. The price point is just what's kind of flooring me, and where I think you're just going to lose everybody. I just don't see it bringing in the amount of people that you need it to. Because think about this, Sam. I think I paid, and like I'm the kind of person that I will quit my streaming services so they give me a better price. I'll call customer service reps just to see like what can be done. I'm not complaining. I'm just calling and asking. And a lot of times they'll be like, well, if I leave, like, will you give me a better price instead? And they'll give you the best possible deal that's on the books that might not be available like publicly. So I think I paid like $110 for a year of Max. I paid $20 for a year of Peacock. I get Hulu for free because I got this like grandfather offer from Spotify, Spotify student, so I'm not even paying the full price for Spotify. I don't pay for Netflix. I think my wife pays for that, so I'm not 100% sure what that deal was with that. But we got a deal on Disney Plus too, where we wait for the deals. Black Friday deals. You wait for the. And here's the thing, Sam. If I buy the Black Friday deal, when I have to re-up, guess what time of the year it is? Black Friday again. Oh. So I get the Black Friday deal again. I just sign out with that email and sign out with a different email.
You are slick.
I'm never going to pay full price for anything. I'm just not. There's too many opportunities to not pay full price. And it's not like I'm stealing. I'm taking the opportunities that are given to me. And, they make a lot of that money back because people forget about it. It lapses. Heck, when we signed up for Costco, I got $80 in gift cards from Costco to sign up for Costco for $60. So Costco paid me to go to Costco.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? So it's like deals are out there.
The only thing I have here is it's going to be the exclusive TV everywhere. So I'm assuming TV everywhere is not geofence. You can't say that if you're TV everywhere.
I saw a reporter say that the geolocated part is about the TV subscribers. At least that was he took a line from the press release that wasn't clear, but that's how I
like. I have DirecTV streaming service, so when I go out of area, I guess that app is still considered TV.
Right. The same thing happens to me with YouTube TV.
Yeah,
YouTube TV is geolocated.
Because the MSG Plus app is $29.99 a month. Yes app is $24.99 a month. Combine the two, it's $41.99 a month.
Or what is it? It's like $350 per year or something?
$359.99. I wonder if it includes tax or not.
I would assume so. In New Jersey, you're going to have to pay taxes. All right, Sam, we talked about this a long time, so let's pivot real quick. There's been a lot of content on pucksandpitchforks.com.
Oh, jeez, you have to use that word again.
Sorry, we've been talking. Sorry, there's a lot of articles on pucksandpitchforks.com right now. I'm tired. I've worked so much the past 2 weeks.
Okay, I'll give you a pass, but I thought you were just doing that to poke at the bear. But go ahead.
No, yeah. We're getting anyway. There's a lot of articles on pucksandpitchforks.com. And we're reacting to a few things, but a couple of the interesting things. So for one, Vinny Parisi's doing a top 15 players. So definitely check that out. And I'm not even doing. I know this sounds like plugs. This isn't plugs, but one of the ones is the obvious one. What's going on with Dawson Mercer? It's about to be September. And Dawson Mercer, like, there's not even rumors anymore. Like, there's no news on Dawson Mercer. And that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but are you at all worried about Dawson Mercer?
Nope.
Okay. And then I'm seeing a lot of lists. And NHL Network always does these lists around these times, and there's a lot of fodder around it. The only one that I care about is the top 10 centers. Top 20 centers. Let's talk about the top 20 centers, because I think Hughes was 6, and Nico Hischier was 20. What do you think about Jack Hughes falling out of the top 5 this year?
I don't have a problem with it.
If you take he's a top 5 talent. He's outstanding ice.
I mean, he's coming off of a injury-riddled season. I mean, would you put him in the top 5? I mean,
Right.
You got to knock one of the top 5 out, and I think the top 5 is deserving. That's how good
What's
the
the top
competition.
5 right now? It's McDavid, Matthews, Crosby, Draisaitl,
McKinnon. Yeah, I mean,
yeah. The only one you could even argue is Draisaitl, but I think Draisaitl is better than Hughes right now, like today. Like, I wouldn't trade Hughes for Draisaitl, but if you're taking guys for this year only, I do think Draisaitl is up there. I'm trying to think like who else is like in that conversation. It kind of falls off into that, right?
Looking at that list and then seeing Nico Hischier down at the list, at least he made the list. But your first overall pick sounds like a bust to me.
A bust?
No, I'm kidding around. Not a bust,
Oh,
but
God.
I'm kidding around. But that was just you look at that 2017 draft, Nick. If you were to do it over again, would you pick Nico Hischier as the first overall? Knowing that,
no, because like Kyle McCarr is the best defenseman in the league.
yeah.
So like okay, cool. But I'll tell you what, I'm like not.
Well, here's the thing, because the media kind of sold us that draft, it's really the top 2, and then it just completely falls off. That's the way I remember it, that it was like it's either Nolan Patrick, who was the consensus favorite for a long time, and then suddenly Nico Hischier came out of nowhere, and Ray Shero out of the 2 picked correctly. Thank goodness. Could you imagine if they picked Nolan Patrick? It would have been a disaster.
I said they should, so that's probably my worst take of all time.
That was your hot take?
It wasn't hot. It was just my pick. I picked Nolan Patrick. I was wrong. I do have to correct myself, though, Sam. Hughes is 9th, not 6th. He's also behind Barkov, which was like the obvious one we missed. Barkov is definitely in there in that conversation. And then Braden Point and Jack Eichel. I mean, I'd definitely rather have Hughes than both of them, because Eichel's the same thing as Hughes. He's fought the injury bug. And then Point, I think Point's great, but I just don't. I don't know. We'll see now that he doesn't have Stamkos there. And he has to be the guy. We'll see. But I'd rather have Hughes than Point, like 100%. And then right after him is Elias Pettersson, who is probably the guy a lot of people bring up when it comes to with the Hischier conversation. So there's 2 arguments here. Would you rather have Elias Pettersson with Jack Hughes, or would you have rather taken Elias Pettersson, knowing you probably don't get Jack Hughes then?
Well, I think it altered history. I think that's another way of looking at it.
Right.
it's a 2-for-1.
And here's the thing, Sam, that we don't talk about is that if the Devils took Cale Makar or Elias Pettersson, they probably don't have Dawson Mercer because Taylor Hall would never have had the MVP season. Because if you remember, Pettersson and Makar took another year. I think Makar took 2. I don't know if I remember that correctly. But Pettersson definitely took another year to make it to the NHL. And Hall doesn't have that MVP season then. And they almost definitely missed the playoffs again, which means they would have gone like a full decade with no playoff appearances. And, I think the implications of taking Pettersson or Makar over Hischier are kind of long. Like, I think that John Hines gets fired that year. I think Ray Shero would have been able to hire another coach. I think they would have dealt with the next offseason differently. And that's still, to this day, the worst thing that Ray Shero did was how he handled the 2018 offseason. He put all his chips after Pat Maroon, and Maroon left like $3 million on the table per season to go sign with the Blues. And then didn't do anything. Like nothing, from what I remember. Maybe a couple PTOs, but I remember the thing was like, we have John Quenneville, and he'll grow. And it was just a complete, utter misunderstanding of the talent there. And they just they thought like the acquisitions were going to be growth from Hischier and growth from Jesper Bratt. And, like these young players, like Will Butcher turning into a better player. And that was the year they drafted Ty Smith. They were really excited about him. And he wasn't going to make the roster that year, but, they were like, oh, we're going to have guys coming. It just didn't work out that way. But it felt like a mistake then. Like, the Devils, like, they weren't like a solid, it's not even like when they made it in 2023, where you're a solid 2 seed, home field or home ice advantage in the first round, make it to the second round. No, you were the last seed facing the number 1 seed in the playoffs, and you got your doors kicked in 5 games. I think it was more competitive than it looks like on paper, but you still lost in 5 games. There was nothing about that said, we're good. Unless that's what you wanted to be, if you're just trying to be a wild card team again. But Taylor Hall carried that team on his back along with Keith Kincaid. 2 things that weren't likely to happen again. And they didn't. So, huge mistake by Ray Shero there. Huge.
Yeah, and ultimately cost him his job.
It did. That end, he just made all the wrong moves in 2019. We loved the PK Subban trade, but it was the wrong move. We loved the signing of Nikita Gusev. He couldn't establish himself in the NHL. What else was that season? He drafted Jack Hughes. That was the right move. But he thought Jack Hughes was going to be a number 1 or 2 center year 1. And you thought you were set down the middle with Hischier, Hughes, and Zacha. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sam, but wasn't Zacha like the best player on the team that year? And it wasn't that good. He had like 36 points.
Yeah, you're talking about the COVID year?
1920, yeah. The COVID, when the year ended abruptly because of COVID. Or was it the COVID year, the 2021?
I think it was the 2021. I think he had, I think that was his only good season with the Devils.
Yeah. It was only 36 points. It was in like 50 games or something, but still. He didn't even have a point per game. So, what are you going to do? But now I think we're ready for plugs. I think we're at the end. When
Yep.
Pavel Zacha comes up, it's time to end your podcast.
Yeah, pretty much. End your season.
You want me to go first?
Yep, go ahead.
All right, so I'll go into detail about the Gotham Sports app on pucksandpitchforks.com tonight. But if you don't want to wait, if you go there right now, I have 5 reasons the Devils are Stanley Cup contenders again. What they did this offseason, everything that's going right for them, the reason why there's a different personality in the room. Devils, Stanley Cup contenders. 5 reasons why. Jennifer Streeter has written a couple pieces for us. She wrote about Dawson Mercer, brand new writer, writing about Dawson Mercer. She wrote about the Jack Hughes top 5 center and all the implications of why he's not there. She also wrote a fun one that's like 5 players we wish played for the Devils. Just a little fun history one while we're in the doldrums of August. Luke Garrison is counting down to the season. Just every day is a different number. How many days left into the season? There's 37. Let's talk about Pavel Zacha. Again, I put him to sleep after that one. But 36, Nick Lappin. 35 is Corey Schneider. So just it's kind of a fun trip down memory lane. Vinny Parisi every day is writing about the 15 most important people in the organization. Number 8 just came out, I think, today or yesterday. But it was Timo Meier, the 8th most important person in the New Jersey Devils organization. And I will be writing for the next couple of days, all the way through Labor Day. So you're going to have plenty of content to read. Oh, and Sam wrote about, the other Sam, wrote about Paul Cotter and why he's the perfect fit for this New Jersey Devils team. But I tell you, Sam, before you go, I have called on the horses, and we have brought on many of our old writers. We have added a bunch of new writers. The voice of Pucks and Pitchforks is going to be so... it's just good. There's going to be voices everywhere. You're going to have every type of opinion on pucksandpitchforks.com this year. And you know what? You know what makes me laugh, Sam?
What's that?
I was searching around. I found an old Reddit post of somebody who did not like our content.
I don't like that word. You said it 15 times already, but go ahead.
I said it for a reason.
Oh.
I said it because he was a douche noggle.
Okay.
But he was not a fan of our writing. And I always like when people are like, well, how do they even call this journalism? Well, I don't call it journalism. That's how, because I don't. Also, you're reading a blog, guys. Like, I accept every opinion. If there's something insane that comes in from one of my writers, I will have a conversation with them. And that mostly comes down to, like, trades. Where it's like, I think you got to give up more in this trade, or I think you're giving up too much in this trade. For the most part, I let my writers cook. And I think that's how it should be. You know, I don't want to change your opinion, just to follow the brand. Is that another word? I feel like that's another word that's probably terrible to use. Brand. The brand. Do it for the brand. What is your brand?
No, it's not as bad. I'm starting to hate the word platform. The one word that I hate with marketers, activation. Oh my goodness! If I hear that word one more time,
right? Because you knew they just made that up.
We could have a whole podcast of calling out a lot of these phonies that are content phonies. Oh, I have a podcast too. Oh yeah, okay. Or I get a lot of people say, good luck with that. I get that all the time. If they find out I have a podcast, good luck with that. Good luck with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's all I got, Sam.
Oh, okay. Well, what do I say? JoinOurCrew.com. Yes, JoinOurCrew.com. Sign up. I'm going to talk to the Sunday crew because I think it's September 15th. Will be season 8. Season 8. There's going to be some surprises in the works. I'm not going to leak it out, but I kind of figured out my work schedule. I think I figured out. Those that don't know, I got a new job a few months ago, and I'm trying to figure out how to work this podcast while having, I don't know, an adult life.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure. I'm trying
to
to
make
figure
real
out.
monies.
Yeah. So gonna figure it out, but you're gonna get a lot of me. I possibly could be bringing somebody else from the outside. Not sure yet. I haven't even talked to Nick about that. And we'll figure it out.
It's all right. I got news for you, too, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk off air?
Okay.
On that. But, hey, I hate to say this, but thank you to the Comcast guy because we didn't time out and drop on live air, which is good.
This podcast has been brought to you by Comcast Internet because we both have.
Oh no, I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't go that far. By the way, I am Comcast Business. You're Xfinity.
So I feel like people have gotten blind bills from Comcast. Can we send them a blind fee for promotion?
Yeah. Anyway,
you owe us $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah, there are times where the incompetency of customer service of various companies where I just want to bill them for doing their job.
Yeah, I cost $120 an hour.
Yeah. That's my rate. And
that was the case. Easy Pass owed me a lot of money.
And as Max says, it's actually brought to you by Anchor Brew. Coming back for another season. Season 8, Anchor Brew, where we make winning memories together, one crew at a time. Dropping the podcast at midnight. Go to pucksandpitchforks.com. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, everybody tuning in. Until next time, let's go Devils.